Hey guys, it's registered dietitian Kara Corey here for another dietitian talk. And for today's talk, I actually took one of the questions from my Q&A and wanted to do a video on it. Living the Right Way, WHEY, which that's such a clever handle name, I love it, asked how to get back in tune with your hunger. And I thought that was an excellent question. And the fact that she's even asking that question shows that she's trying to be more of an intuitive eater, which most people are not, and most people don't even think about it. So great question, and I'd like to answer this for you because I think a lot of other people are wondering how to do it, or maybe they aren't even thinking about this concept at all, so hopefully I can help bring this to your attention. So in terms of being in tune with your hunger, if you think back to when you're a baby, I guess, although I don't remember being a baby, but pretty much being a small kid up until like the age of 5 years old, we are born naturally to be very intuitive eaters. We are just guided by our body's cues, the hormones that are within us, and you know, if you see a baby throw his bottle, he's not hungry. Or if he's crying, it means he's hungry, you know? So as kids, when we're born, we are so in tune with when we need to eat and how much we need to eat. We know when to stop. When that baby spits out that bottle, it's done. It's had what it needs. And we're like that pretty much up until 5 years of age or so. Maybe for some people a little bit longer. It really just depends. But in general, it's a concept. It's kind of something we grow away from as we get into adulthood. A lot of people aren't in tune with their hunger, and most people, I think on average, from what I looked at, about 50% of people eat for reasons other than hunger, about 50% of the time. We're not eating due to hunger. And there's a multitude of reasons why we might not be eating for hunger, and maybe you don't even realize it. I will be the first to admit, yes, I'm a registered dietitian, but there are plenty of times that I am eating due to reasons other than hunger. For me, I notice my biggest trigger is being at work, being stressed out. Sometimes it can go either way for me. Maybe I'm stressed out and I don't even eat for an extended period of time because I'm not in tune with my body, and I just kind of push those feelings aside and don't eat for a long period of time. So that's not good. Then there's other times where maybe I'm really anxious. There might be a project I have to work on, and I know it's going to be tough, and I don't know if I'm going to know how to do it. Sometimes fear of the unknown. With that anxiety for me, instead of just tackling that project, I'll be like, let me go get something to eat first. Yeah, that sounds good. I know how to do that, and that makes me feel good. So those are just a couple of reasons, but you know, stress, anxiety, those are probably two of the biggest emotional reasons, but also happiness. You know, there's a lot of times that when we're happy or we're celebrating or we're in a social gathering, I mean, it's almost like, how do you hang out with your friends and not eat? You notice that more if you're a competitor. I noticed for myself when I competed, it was very hard to hang out with friends because everything you do revolves around food. Hey, do you want to go get dinner tonight? Do you want to go grab a coffee at Starbucks? Do you want to come to my bridal shower, birthday party, what have you? Food is everywhere. So environmentally, there are so many different times throughout the day that food is presented to us that you might choose to eat it not based on hunger, based on convenience, because it's there, because someone offered it to you, because you're a cheapskate and it's free, and who's going to pass up free food? You know plenty of those people, because I do. I work with food. I oversee a nutrition department for a hospital. We serve food all day long. Food is there. We have to do quality assurance with food and taste food. So there are times that I truly have to taste food for my job. There's also the other cues of TV commercials. That's a big one. I swear the only time I see food commercials is when I'm sitting at home at night, hungry, and then everything imaginable comes up on TV, and then you can't get those weird foods out of your head, like bacon crusted pizza and all the bad stuff. And then you're thinking about it, and maybe that leads you to then leave your house and go buy a pizza. For some people, that could do it. Other times, even just like If you're walking around outside or in a mall or wherever, there's almost always restaurants around, fast food places. How many times have you started smelling something and you're like, French fries? Yeah, French fries sound really good right now. And then you can't get it out of your head. And sometimes just smelling those things cause you to go, yeah, I'm going to go grab a fry real quick at McDonald's. And you're not hungry at all. So there's several different factors that could be impacting us to eat for reasons other than hunger. Totally normal. You're not alone. I'm sure most of you know what I'm talking about. And like I said, no dietitian can sit there and say they don't eat for reasons other than hunger. There's no way you're perfect with this, but it's good to be more mindful of it. If you're eating when you're not hungry, which most of us do, the other problem then becomes is you start to lose touch with your satiety, meaning how full you are. So all those times that you're eating when you're not hungry, you kind of lose touch with when you need to stop or how full is normal, because if you're eating when you're not hungry, then you get to that like super full, gross feeling, uncomfortably full. And I think for a lot of people, we get used to that feeling. People need to feel like, whoa, let me unbutton my pants. Okay, that's perfect. People get to that point where they need to be like overly full, popping out of their pants to be satisfied, kind of like that Thanksgiving full. And that is not how we're supposed to be fueling our bodies. And it's not to say that I haven't done it. We all have. But to be doing it every day is not good. And this is part of the issue with obesity in America right now. Most people are not intuitive eaters. So let's talk a little bit about some of my simple tips for you guys to try to start to get back into being in tune with your hunger and fullness. One of the first things I will talk about is the hunger and fullness scale. I'm not sure if any of you have heard of this. You can go online, pull it up. I have one pulled up behind me. But essentially, you want to start kind of forming this symbiotic relationship within your body in terms of being mindful and where your body's at. Thinking about things on a scale of 1 to 10 is a classic dietitian approach, but it makes things very simple and it kind of gives you a nice guide of how to gauge what you're doing. So in terms of the hunger and fullness scale, you can see them go either way. On the scale I've pulled up, a number 1, you're so hungry you'll eat anything. This is when you've gotten so hungry, you don't care. It doesn't matter how motivated you are, how dedicated, how much you love whole foods. You're going to stop at Burger King because, girl, you need a burger. You need food now. Okay, that's when you just get so hungry, all the rules go out the door, it doesn't matter. And in those times when you get yourself to a number 1, that's when you are bound to make bad choices, number 1. And number 2, we tend to overeat because we've gotten ourselves to that point beyond being ravenous that you're not going to sit there and go, oh yes, I'm at a level 7 now, I'm going to stop. You just eat till you are just so overly full. And I think this is classic for a lot of people, working people who are working full-time. I've mentioned this before. A lot of people go to work all day, keep themselves occupied, and then they get home and boom, it hits them. They are starving, game on, let's eat all night long. So with this hunger scale, I want you to kind of be thinking about where you're at. And number 1 being you're so hungry you'll eat anything. Number 10 being you're painfully full, you feel ill. You're gonna throw up. Oh my God, I'm never eating this way again. This doesn't mean you've binged, okay? Let's kind of separate the whole binging thing for right now. But in number 10, you feel so full, you feel sick. You guys know what I'm talking about. This might be Thanksgiving for you, or this might be an everyday occurrence for you. I'm going to be honest, a lot of people get themselves to a number 10 most days of the week. That's part of why we have issues with obesity right now. So on this hunger and fullness scale, you want to stay between a 4 to a 7. So think about this when you're making food choices and when you're eating. A number 4 is you can feel you're getting hungry and it's time to start thinking about what you might want to eat. A number 5 is you're neither hungry nor full. 6, you're just right, you're satisfied but could easily eat more. In 7, you're totally satisfied. The hunger is gone and you won't be hungry for hours. So you kind of want to start thinking about eating when you're at a number 4. You don't want to get yourself all the way down to a number 1 where you're totally ravenous. And then you want to try to learn to stop eating when you're about a number 7. When you know, okay, hunger is gone now. Yep, not sitting here hungry anymore. And you know that you've fueled yourself enough that you won't need to eat for another few hours. So this is one simple tool that, like I said, you can pull this up online very easily if you need to look at it for a guide. But I want you to kind of think about that. For those of you that need help getting back to your hunger and satiety cues, which most people don't have, think about this scale when you're making your eating choices. Think about where you're at in the day. And also start to question your need to snack. This is classic for me as well. I just dealt with this last night actually, but step back and think about before you're about to snack if you truly need to snack. Now, something I need to point out is, and this is very difficult for people too, including myself, just because you feel hungry doesn't mean you need to eat, okay? And that's one of the biggest things I think a lot of people struggle with. You feel a little bit of hunger and you're like, oh shit, time to eat again. You know, most people like to eat. Food tastes good, right? It's nice, it's filling, makes your heart feel warm and soft, okay? So you need to step back and kind of think about, all right, I think I'm hungry right now, but do I need to eat? How much have I ate today? What's going on in my body right now? And the first thing that you should evaluate is how many fluids or how much fluids have you drank today. That is classic. One of the most classic things I find with people is that they go the whole day and they don't drink any liquids. Well, number 1, shocker, you have crazy headaches. And number 2, you're probably going to end up overeating because very common, I'm sure you've heard it before, but most people mistake hunger for thirst, which is why I am always carrying that meathead half-gallon jug with me filled with water wherever I go, because if you have it with you, you're bound to drink it. If you don't have any fluids with you, odds are you're not going to take the time out of your day to seek it out. We're very busy. Everyone is. So just make it a habit to bring some fluids with you. And what I would recommend you do, if you're kind of unsure, am I hungry right now? Do I really need to eat? I don't know. Oh my God, I feel crazy in my head. Just stop, take a few breaths, get a nice big glass of water, or my favorite, Crystal Light, and just sit down and drink yourself a good sized water, maybe 16 ounces or so. Kind of let that digest a little bit. And if after 10 minutes you're still feeling like, yep, still thinking about food, I'm still hungry, then yeah, you probably do need a snack. It's probably time to put some fuel into your body. So really all I'm saying is use this hunger fullness scale to assess where you're at, which requires you to stop and be in tune with your body. And a lot of us don't do that because it takes time. You have to sit there and actually take time to make a decision. And most of us are quickly presented with food. Here's a candy jar. Want some candy? Hang on, let me get in tune with my hunger and fullness scale. No one's going to do that. You have to make these quick decisions, right? But that's okay. Why don't you do that for yourself? You have to advocate for yourself. No one else cares, okay? No one else cares if you're healthy. A lot of people out there will try to derail you. And if they're eating shit, they want you to eat shit with them. So it can be challenging, but think about this hunger and fullness scale, and it really can be a great tool for you. One of the things I frequently do with clients when I'm working with them is I take it a step further than food journaling. My Fitness Pal is awesome, but it only tells you that objective data. And what I like to know from people is, okay, so for breakfast you had eggs and toast and juice. What time was that? How were you feeling at that time? How did you feel when you were done eating? And maybe some of you won't do this, but if you're really feeling like you need to get back in tune with your hunger and satiety, then start journaling a little bit more. Take it a step further. Don't just journal what you eat. Document what time you're eating at and how you're feeling before and after the meal. And that'll help give you some information so that you can start seeing some trends in what you're doing right, or maybe some places you need to tweak. My next tip is to be a mindful eater. So by being a mindful eater, I kind of want you to think about being like a chef or a cook. You want to sit there and take the time to not just like shove food down your mouth, but appreciate the texture of your food, the look of your food, the taste of your food. You want to kind of smell the aromas. It may sound lame, but seriously, it can make a big difference. I encourage you to do this. I did this in college, and I've done it with a lot of nutrition groups that I've taught at the hospital I work at. Take 2 Hershey Kisses. Yes, I'm telling you to eat some chocolate right now, but this is a mindful eating trick. Take 1 Hershey Kiss and just eat it the way you would normally eat it. Most people open the package, pop the chocolate in their mouth, chew it, and they're done with it. Take your second Hershey Kiss, and a mindful eater approach would be to pick up the Hershey Kiss, take a look at it, examine it, slowly take the package off it, smell the chocolate, touch the chocolate, put it in your mouth, and don't chew it. Just let it sit in your mouth, feel it in your mouth, and just kind of let it melt in your mouth. And it sounds really cheesy, and I'm sure a lot of dirty comments could be written about some of the things that I just said. But for real, try it and notice how much longer it takes you to consume that piece of chocolate, and then compare which technique or whatever, which experience was more satisfying for you. And anytime I've ever done this, people are just amazed. And when I did it, I was amazed. It really is a different experience. And how much easier would weight management be if we all took the time to kind of enjoy our foods and appreciate them in that way? Not to say you may not get some funny looks if you're like in a restaurant like smelling your chicken breast, but who cares, right? You only live once. And, just being more mindful also involves not being preoccupied with other things. How many of us eat while we do other stuff? Hello, most of us, right? I mean, I do. I'm at work, I'm eating, I'm typing, I'm answering questions as people are coming to me. I am like queen multitasker, and that's kind of what's expected in 2015. You're expected to multitask. I eat and drive, and I drive stick shift, yo. So I am like super multitasker. Is that good? No, it's not good with our eating choices. So with mindful eating, stop doing other stuff. Sit down. Don't have any other distractions there, and take the time to appreciate your food. Most often when we're with a group of friends or doing something social or watching TV and eating, you eat more than you would if you weren't doing those things. If you sit down in front of the TV watching your favorite show with a big bucket of popcorn, one of my favorite things to do, odds are I'm going to eat that entire bucket of popcorn because I'm not really paying attention to when I'm kind of getting full and satisfied, when I'm at that like number 7 or 8. I'm just sitting there saying, hey, this is fun to eat some popcorn and watch my favorite shows. So as much as you can, take the time to be mindful about your food and enjoy it a little bit more. And even for myself, I need to do that more too. It's very common that we don't do this. So that is my second tip for you. My third tip is to slow down when you're eating, and this will come if you're more of a mindful eater. It takes about 20 minutes for your brain to get that message that you're full. So if you're eating in 5-10 minutes and you're someone who could overeat, or you don't sit there with your pre-portioned meals, you're bound to eat way more than you need to, because it does. It takes 20 minutes for you to kind of start feeling that sensation. And it's like my mother used to always say when I was a little girl, and my husband even says it now, your eyes are way bigger than your stomach, Kara, because I am just like, yeah, bring it on. I want to eat more. I want to eat more. And then it's like 10 minutes later, I'm like, oh God, I ate too much. Why did I do that? Why did I do that? I mean, someone else out there has done this, right? So it happens. Slow down. If you need to, take sips of fluids in between bites. Do whatever you need to do to kind of slow down, enjoy the experience, and that will overall help you to decrease and kind of control how much you're eating and eat more of what you need to eat. My last tip for getting you back on track with being in tune with your hunger is sleep. believe it or not, sleep can play a crucial role in your eating habits and not overeating. So for most Americans in general, or most people, whatever, we need about 7.5 to 8.5 hours of sleep. Somewhere within there. It's a little bit different for everyone, but as we know, the average person gets 6 hours of sleep or less at nighttime. And what that can do is it can cause some changes in the hormones in your body. It can cause an increase in the ghrelin. That's one of the hormones in your body that makes you feel hungry. So you're gonna feel hungrier on less sleep and eat more than you need to. And when you're underslept, no, that's probably not a word. When you don't get enough sleep, whatever. I'm tired, guys. And when you don't get enough sleep, it can also decrease your leptin levels as well, which is what helps you make you feel full. Slow down, Kara. That's what can help you make you feel full. There you go. Are you guys still watching? Okay, good. So anyways, sleep is really crucial. You are going to totally mess with your machine, your organism. You're not going to be able to understand when you're hungry, when you're full, how much to eat. Usually when you're really tired, again, you notice you make not as healthy food choices, and you tend to overeat because you're feeling hungrier more throughout the day. So for anyone out there who's not making sleep a priority, beyond being in tune with your hunger, there's several reasons why sleep needs to be a priority in your life to achieve any of your goals, and just for overall health. And a lot of people don't put that in their priority list. Sleep and fitness need to be in there. So just make sure you're doing what you can to take care of your body and let it get the rest and sleep that it needs throughout the night, in effort to not mess with those hormone levels. Okay, so those, I think, are all my tips for right now on how to help get you guys back in tune with your hunger. I hope you stuck through with me this whole time and you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and share the video with others. As always, I appreciate your support, so please subscribe if you don't already. Don't forget to go to tigerfitness.com. You can get all your MTS nutrition goodies there, any supplements you may need, maybe stuff to help you sleep at night. I think that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know any other videos you would like me to do, and we'll see you soon. Pour that in there. And then my other add-in is this Wegmans thin-shaped ham. It's pretty low in fat. I'm doing about 2 ounces of it, which is only 1.5 grams of fat. So I just took 2 ounces of that, weighed out, and again, I just kind of chopped it up nice and little. You could easily add